Hi, my name is David Shiner, and family is important to me, and so are my clients. At Shiner Law Group, I want to treat every client like they're part of my family. If you've been involved in an accident, pick up the phone and give me a call. Let's talk about what my team of professionals can do to help you.
Good afternoon. Welcome to this week's edition of Boca Business Brief. Our guest today is Francisco Pessoa, founder and CEO of Business Choice Tax Experts. Let me just tell you, the segment is brought to you, as you just heard, by Shiner Law Group and the Boca Raton Tribune. And let me add that if you have a question for us, you may send it to us at Boca Raton Tribune on Facebook. Francisco, thank you. Francisco, thank you for being with us today. How are you?
Good, great, Ron. Thank you for the invitation. A pleasure to be here.
Good, good. So tell us about Business Choice Tax Experts.
I found the business 24 years ago. A little bit of my background. I was a CEO for a large company in Florida and started the business 24 hours ago. 24 hours ago, it's funny, right? 24 years ago. Seems like it was yesterday. Our business is specialized in mid-size business, a small business, and we do everything from accounting to tax preparation and IRS representation. I've been representing clients with IRS audits for the past 20 years, and we really focus on the small business, local small business. It's business choice. It's your business. It's your choice. That's what we like to say. And we pretty much focus in taxation. Also for individuals, but mostly for business. And I am, a little bit of my background. I'm an economist, accountant, a computer system analyst, but my focus nowadays is really the taxation and helping small business to strive.
Okay, super. Well, Francisco, the COVID-19 pandemic, this pandemic has affected nearly all aspects of everyday life for both individuals and small business owners. From tightening financial decisions to the possibility of acquiring a loan to keeping your small business afloat. When will things stabilize? That's the question I've been hearing from people. When will things stabilize?
Well, we say in America, like sometimes you say, well, that's a tough question. That's $1 million question. I would say at this time, this could be a $3 trillion question. It's too soon to know when this will start to happening. We see that we have a little bit of a catch-22. Some businesses are desperate to be open again. A lot of businesses are opening now with limited capacity, so you still have to be concerned with the health issues, because the main concern that I have, and maybe a lot of people do, is that okay, we reopen the economy, everything is going okay. It's not going to be like it was before, but little by little it should be. But then what happens if we start to get higher numbers of coronavirus again? If people start to get sick again, So it's a really difficult situation to be able to, I don't want to say get everybody on the same page, because as we see in America, we have 50, I like to say that we have 50 countries inside the country. Right? Every state is different. Then now we see the conflict with the federal government and the states, and then this state wants to run things this way, and then the government, federal government wants to go the other way. So it's really been complicated to get things running again. Now, as you see lately, now the protests, which doesn't help on this pandemic, you know, it could be also more contamination with that. I hope now. I like to be positive. I'm the half full glass of water, not empty, but
Right.
yes, it's been tough. So to answer your question is, when will the economy stabilize? I think that until we get the coronavirus, the COVID-19, more positive news on vaccines, and things will be a little more more safe. I'm sorry. It's gonna be hard for the economy to get back to the normal pace. And now, Ron, think about it. What's normal nowadays? It's not gonna be normal anymore, right?
You're right about that.
Yeah. What about the restaurants, which is it's people talk about all the time. They're opening in Palm Beach, Dade, and Broward County with 50% capacity. Some restaurants will not be able to make with this 50% capacity because their profit margins are very low. I heard a restaurant owner that has 4 restaurants. If I cannot open with 50% because I will be out of business immediately. I cannot make it. So it depends on every case is different. Every business is different. For some businesses that were not so busy all the time, that might be their norm. I see people improvising. I went to my chiropractor the other day, and I see on this plaza where my chiropractor, the guy has a huge tent outside, and to take more clients because outside there is no limitations. The limitations are very strict. It's like 4 people in at least in Broward County, 4 people per table, no more. So if you have more, right? If you have more people, we have a birthday party or whatever it is, you're gonna have to sit at separate tables. You walk in with a mask, you sit down, you can take off your mask. Everybody on this staff, it's gonna be wearing a mask all the time. You gotta go to the bathroom. You put your mask and go to the bathroom. But at least it's something, if people keep that organized.
I'm sure the same can be said about the market volatility. The same can be said about that when it's going to be behind us. But let me ask you this: how will in fact I have a question coming in here. How will someone's retirement goals be impacted by everything that's going on right now?
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me well. I have a little problem hearing you. It's like breaking up. I can still hear you. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, I guess it's just on my end. Okay, I'm not a specialist on the investment business, on financial planning. I'm not a financial planner. I know pretty much, from my background, the basics, what goes on,
Right.
but I don't follow this, 24 hours a day, so I'm not comfortable. Whatever I'm gonna say here is just my opinion. I think that considering everything that has happened, it could be much worse. I think that I pull it up just one example. If I look at the SP 500, which is, a big sign of the economy.
Right, I'm back on yet?
And the SP 500,
Yes.
before coronavirus and today is just down about 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be down 40%. It could be down, a lot. So I think that this is like a roller coaster that we're going right now.
Right.
We get some good news, things get better. We get some bad news, it goes down again. So it's fluctuating. I think that short term, definitely, it's not going to be, people will not be able to retire like they would be. Midterm, in who knows, a year, 2, couple of years, let's say, things should be, in my opinion, only more stabilized. I don't think this is going to be, uh, if you remember going back to 2008 when you had the real estate crisis.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Some people, they pretty much lost half of their retirement money, and they could not retire. I don't think it's going to be that bad, because if you think about it, there's a lot of interesting facts on this crisis. This is not only, which makes more challenging, but at the same time, it gives us, at least me, some hope that people will have to work it out, because this is not U.S., this is not South America, this is not Europe. This is everybody. This is the population of the world fighting this thing, right? So we're gonna have to compromise. In there is no such a thing as, okay, this country and that country and the other countries, they are doing great. You screw everybody else. Everything nowadays is connected. And that's my vision as an economist. You have a balloon, I like to say, okay, a birthday party balloon. And then when you press the balloon, you don't see it, but the air has to go somewhere. Everything in that balloon, it has to be connected. So that's my opinion. I don't think it's gonna be that bad. Some people are. Everybody has a different situation. For people that didn't get, you can see it. There is some business that are doing actually better, just because their business, it's very in demand right now. Let's talk about computers. I tried to buy a camera, impossible, for the computer. I bought equipment. All my staff is working from home. I was preparing for this, but then I saw, price gouging. I saw something
Right.
the price that I paid before. So I think that I'm hopeful that this is not going to be, like I said, the recession that we had before, and then somehow things will take a little time. Will take, I don't know how long, but it's not going to be a long and deep down on the market. Okay.
Francisco, seemed like we getting quite a few messages here or questions on the PPP, the Payment Protection Program. What I'm going to do is try to probably ask you. We have about 15 more minutes. I'm going to try to get into this and get as many of these questions in. But you keep sending your questions in to us on Facebook at Boca Raton Tribune on Facebook, and we'll try to get your questions in today. The first question here is, what is explain the Paycheck Protection Program, and who is eligible for such a loan, if you will?
Okay. The PPP, what's called, it's to help business during the pandemic. It was a calculation based on payroll, and that calculation would be pretty much to cover 8 weeks of paychecks, and allocated 75% for payroll and 25% for other expenses. Other expenses like mortgage, rent, utilities. So that would be to allow people to stay in business, or people that had to be shut down still pay their employees, okay, for this time being. This program, we had many issues as far as running out of money. There was the first money ran out really quickly. Some big companies took a lot of money. There was my guess even before you get to the news, but some of them returned the money, and the government gave a deadline up until June 12 or 15 that people that didn't need the money to return the money, no harm, no foul. And a lot of the companies did. You probably saw that on the media. And there was a lot to cover. I'm not going to get into details, but the PPP is supposedly a loan that can not be repaid if you follow the guidelines, and that's very important. And as yesterday, I have some information on this. They made the rules for the PPP as far as not having to return the money to become a grant more flexible. Just to give you the highlights, before you had to use the money for the payroll for 8 weeks, and some business didn't have as much payroll because they were very slow or shut down. So there would be a possibility that they would have to give the money back. And now, with this new law that was passed in Congress, they extended that. I'm trying to pull the guidelines here. If you give me a second, they
While you do
extended.
that, is there like a threshold? I was told that 10,000, and what's the correct amount?
Okay, the amount is the average of the last 12 months payroll. It's a real simple calculation. Okay, there was a lot of confusion at the beginning because a lot of companies, small business, instead of having sort of payroll that they pay payroll taxes they withhold, they have independent contractors. They contract self-employed people.
Right.
So for some loans, uh, you would be allowed to consider these people, but for the PPP, it became very clear soon that you cannot. So which was bad for a lot of business. The idea is if I have payroll and subs, I just can apply for payroll because my subs they can apply for their own PPP. But if they didn't have payroll, they couldn't apply. So there was, in my opinion, messed up. But the calculation is simple. It's going to make just an easy number here. If a company had $120,000 in payroll, okay, you divide that by 12, the last 12 months, and you multiply by 2.5. So that company would have $25,000 amount to be used on payroll and other expenses related to the business. Okay, whatever they did yesterday is pretty much going to allow. And I'm a little bit handicapped today because my computer, uh, got coronavirus, I guess, and shut down on me. And I'm working on a laptop and improvising here from my home office. But the information on that, I'm going to tell you in a second. It pretty much extended, they extended the time that you can pay payroll for
Right.
many, many, many more weeks. They changed the percentage. Instead of being 75% for payroll, 25% for other expenses, now it's 60% for payroll and other expenses. So in many situations, that was very helpful because I saw some clients that would have to, you would not meet those conditions and would have to pay back the PPP. Okay, which it's no good. That was not the intention.
Now, how is this different from the Small Business Administration loan? How is that, or small SBA program? How is this different from that?
Very, very, very good question. Very important. People were not too excited. I gotta say briefly, there was three types of help. Okay, for us here in Florida. Okay, the SBA is nationwide. There is a Florida bridge loan up to $50,000. They were overwhelmed and didn't go anywhere. I don't know anybody, and I hired people just to help clients with the loans and even unemployment because the whole thing is crazy. And all the
Right.
loans get approved. All the loans get approved on the second round of money. Now, the PPP has these rules, and when the SBA loan was supposed to be an advance for a future loan up to $10,000, and it was a lot of people get all kinds of. They had 5 employees, they got $1,000, and then eventually they start to give the advance with the number of employees that they request, and the same rules for that advance. The advance had the same rules for the PPP, if you know what I mean. You could use that money for payroll, paying the business expenses on the same percentage. Okay. Now, the good news is, and I think this is gonna, a lot of people didn't get to get the money from the PPP because the banks ran out of money. I still have banks and financial institutions that if people can apply today,
Right.
they still can apply. Okay, but before you just said, okay, my bank doesn't have any more money, so I cannot apply. So the SBA, they ran out of money very, very quickly. On the first run of money, on the $3 trillion, or was the second one? On the first one, money started on Monday to be the application were taken online. There was quickly and easy 30 minutes max application. and by Thursday they run out of money. But the people that got advanced, they're starting to get offers on the loan. What is very important about the loan is I have clients that will offer from $20,000 to the highest so far is $150,000, okay, for a small business. But the big advantage is, number one, you don't start to pay that, for a year, and you're just going to make your first payment a year from receiving the money. Number two, this is a 30 years loan. It's like a mortgage, okay? So I'm not saying that people, this is it's one of, I don't want to say which one. Things are different nowadays, but this is, I guess, the biggest economic crisis ever that affected the whole economy, right? So this will allow people to make their cash flow better and survive, and maybe that's the difference of closing the business or not, because it's not money now, it's like cash is king.
So you're telling me that if I get a loan for $10,000 or $12,000, I'm gonna have 30 years to pay it back?
Exactly. I just got a text message on it. This is a one-person business. He does like whatever shutters. Okay, he got $17,000, but for him, it's $98 a month payment. So he can pay off credit cards that he has and maybe improve his cash flow in about $1,000 a month. Okay, for some people, $150,000.
Right.
A payment of $150,000, a loan of $150,000. You know what's the monthly payment? $731 to be precise.
I can see that.
So you see, as I know, because I deal with these people, on a daily basis, this guy has $60,000 in credit card, because for a small business, it's very hard to get money. So people end up, getting a loan from the credit card and just keep going. This guy, in his case, he has around $4,500 in payments on a credit card. Okay, so what's going to happen? He's going to be able to pay off all his credit cards, okay, and save around $4,000 a month in cash flow. Okay, and if you use $60,000, you still have $90,000 in reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For the bad times, just like better than a line of credit. I'm not saying to people that, oh, you're going to pay this in 30 years. No, but, you use the money. I'm telling people, even if you don't think you're going to use the money right now, that you don't need the money, just take it. Just take it, because we don't know what's going to be the long-term effect.
Francisco, let me get at least two more questions in here. This one is, given the recent market downturn, when I look at my portfolio assets and worry, will I have to work longer?
It's a very good question. You are a young guy. I don't know exactly how old you are.
21.
Huh?
21. Actually, this was the question that came in.
Okay. Well, I don't think you're going to have to work longer. I think that, for people that are just about to retire, yes, that could be a possibility. For people that, were maybe 3 to 5 years to retire, and maybe no, maybe not. So very, 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 very hard to say. Like I said, I'm not a financial planner. I'm not looking at the market every day. I cannot do these predictions, but I guarantee you that nobody, even the people there in the market, can tell you for sure what's going to be, in the next, months or, a couple of years or whatever.
And I have one right in your vein here now. Given the many changes in income tax rules and the regulations, what are some new provisions to help?
Well, they're talking about a second stimulus check.
Yes.
Okay. It's not getting approved. It's not being, it's just they're coming up with another package. Okay. The problem is they made a lot of mistakes. Sorry?
You think they will pass it?
I think they will pass it. I think they will pass it because this is a very unprecedented situation where, if they don't do whatever they have to do, things can go down really bad. Things can be really bad. So they will pass things and until they have to. I don't know exactly what's going to be. I hope that because they had, you gotta give it to them that they have very short time to put these things in place. Okay, and they did their best, but there was a lot of mistakes. There's people that got money that didn't need the money, like I told you about it. You know, there are interesting situations with unemployment. People get nothing so far, and the system has been crashing. You know, but with the federal $600, the federal unemployment plus the Florida, which is the highest, 275. Another interesting situation. You think that, let's say somebody that would have an income of $500 a week, whatever they did, okay, not a lot of money, but not minimum wage. These people are receiving now, if they were able to, $875 a week, which creates an issue. Like the employers are like, I cannot get my people to back to work, but how are you going to solve this? And they're talking about a stimulus for people to come back to work. Think about it. But I can say, if I work for you, I say I don't feel comfortable.
Francisco, give me your phone number in case someone want to reach you again. We're almost out of time. Give us your phone number again.
Okay, 954-782-1829. Can I give you the
782-1829, 954 area code.
Can I give you real quick the changes on the PPP?
Well, we're out of time right now, but what we can do is have folks contact you. It can be on our website. Folks, that will just be about all for today. Our guest today was Francisco Pessoa, and he's the founder of Business Choice Tax Experts. If you have additional questions, need to reach Francisco, feel free to look at our Facebook page of BocaRatonTribune.com. From all of us here, thank you, and see you next time.
Thank you.